Don't do this at home, folks. But what a treat that was. Not factor this in at all.
Whoa!
What?
You're about to show them a tunnel. Spoilers!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Paul and Rebecca Whitebeck, our channel.
Hi. I'm Paul.
I'm Rebecca. It's a tunnel video today, and we are making a video from the beautiful Devon and Somerset Railway, which stretched 43 miles across North Devon, pretty much from Taunton to Barnstaple. It had 4 tunnels. Join us on today's adventure when we try and have a look at them all.
So the line was completely built in 1873.
And it was constructed using 40,000 cubic yards of masonry for the viaducts and tunnels and bridges, and they excavated 1.7 million cubic yards of earth.
Crikey. It was originally broad gauge, but then was converted to standard in 1881.
Now there's 4 tunnels along this very undulating and gradient filled line. We're going to tackle them from east to west. So you joined us from Taunton, where we travelled towards Barnstaple. That's the way we are tackling the tunnels, the first of which is Barfallerton. Now Barfallerton we are going to hit from the west side first, I believe.
Hello. Ow! Holly! Well, you know you just said Barfalton.
Oh yeah.
I think it's Barthel, or even I've got
So
it
you
wrong
can't
now.
say that either. Well, pronunciation is not my thing. I'm going with Barfalton.
Barfalton.
Not Barfallerton.
Barfallerton is what you said, yeah.
So first tunnel, first attempt, we're hitting it from the western side. Now when we visit these tunnels, we never know really what to expect. There's only so much research you can do beforehand about how accessible they are. Sometimes they're hugely accessible, sometimes they're open access, and a lot of time they're on private land. So let's have a look from the west side first and see if we can get to see the tunnel. Okay, a whole bunch of cows there. Ahead of me, I've got a significant gate, which is causing me issue in that it's brand new. It looks like a seated area just ahead of me. So it's almost like someone's garden, which very much puts me off walking through it. Right, frustratingly, Barfalton, at least the western portal, is a bit of a no-go. It's really tricky. I'm sure many of you will be screaming out to say just crack on and go and have a look at it, but I didn't have a good feeling about it. Didn't feel right, so we didn't do it. Plus we had a meeting at Venn. However, we are now stood on top of Venn Tunnel.
So when we got to Venn, we had a lovely tour by the people who own the property. They were absolutely lovely and they had so much to see.
It was useful having the garden open for the National Garden Scheme because a lot of people who came, or quite a few people,
Yeah.
had connections with the station
Oh,
in
okay.
one way or another.
Yeah. Yes, there was a lot, wasn't there?
Yes, including
Correct.
a tunnel that they had in their garden.
Yes, now the tunnel in the garden, it's tricky because it's not accessible. They don't have the key for it, so we had to find other means to get in. We're not exactly going to tell you how we did that as such, but suffice to say, it's not accessible.
No.
So anyway, inside the tunnel, here's a few shots. So as we said before, it's quite fascinating to look at this tunnel because it was built for broad gauge. So it's in theory a little bit wider than what it would have been for any normal standard gauge tunnel, despite the line being converted itself to standard gauge. So there are still a number of recesses within the tunnel. There's also a number of very bizarre artefacts here, perhaps from a post-rail era. Now the tunnel is on a gradient, and for the life of me I can't remember which way. Venn and Venn Cross is at one of two of the highest points on the line. So I believe the station is the highest point, so I understand that some of the trains had to sort of slow up when they went into the tunnel to make the stop for Venn Cross. And that wasn't always judged very well, and some of the engine drivers of the time had issues with smoke in the cab. We've had a few of those stories before from I think the Bath 2 tunnels era. We are going to move on now to the next tunnel, which
Which is Nightcott,
Nightcott.
which is only 44 yards long on completely private land, and we were definitely told to avoid it.
Yeah, we're told to avoid it because I don't think the landowners are very happy with you. It's essentially a long bridge, so we thought, you know what, let's avoid that and go on to tunnel of the day coming up.
Yes.
Rather sketchy walk along the Devon Link Road, which has now taken over a lot of the old railway, apart from this section here. So this section here, where there was a tunnel and a viaduct. The viaduct is now literally the main road, disappointingly. And this huge embankment right here in front of me is new. It's all for the Devon Link Road, sadly. Now, somewhere down here we'll find the old track bed. How far we can get along it, I don't know. So let's talk about the next tunnel, Castle Hill Tunnel, also known as Bembridge Tunnel, because that was Bembridge on one of the original maps. Then it was Castle Hill after all that. Let's talk about me breaking one of our sort of golden rules for our YouTube channel.
What rule? I wasn't with you, so what rule did you break?
So, you know, on our channel we kind of say we don't trespass. So our golden rule is, if there's a fence, a newly put fence or something really obviously trying to actively keep people out at that point and it's quite recent, then we think it's kind of wrong to do that. But today I'd walked about a mile up the Devon Link Road on the side of it. I'd climbed down an embankment which was probably 70, 80 kind of meters down. I'd crossed a river and I'd then got to a fence. It was a newish fence and it had barbed wire on the top. Now this tunnel lies in the Castle Estate. I'd written about 4 emails over the last year to the good folk at Castle Hill Estate and asked if we could go in. We had no response. I didn't realise that when I got to this tunnel where I could get to, I didn't realise that there would be a fence. I thought it was like an open access estate. I'd done all that travelling for like an hour to get to there, and it was sort of within grasp. It was like 100, 200 yards away, and the estate is sort of miles and miles of big estate, and the nearest sort of building is about 2 miles away. So I kind of broke one of our rules and I climbed the fence. So the tunnel itself, well, it at each end of the tunnel there's around about 10 to 15 feet of stonework before the remainder of the tunnel is largely unlined Pilton mudstone. There are a couple of collars of masonry towards the middle, but I believe they're relatively new, certainly in terms of the age of the line. It's thought that the tunnel had a top heading driven first, so the upper section of the tunnel including the archway itself. So the point at which the lower part, curved roofed, meets the top part. And of course at this point in time I was acutely aware that I was somewhere I shouldn't be. I kept on hearing what I thought were vehicles, it probably wasn't. So I only went in maybe 50 to 100 yards, had a good look around, took some photos and made my way out as quick as possible. Okay, I hope you forgive me, I didn't go in too far. I went in maybe 40-50 yards of the probably 250. I didn't want to push my luck, probably shouldn't be in there. Don't do this at home folks, but what a treat that was. Not lined at all apart from the portals. Yeah, just and even the recesses are sort of bored out of the rock there. Fascinating. I hope the pictures came out okay. So that's the 4 tunnels of the Devon and Somerset Railway. Quite a long day, quite a wet day, quite a struggle at times.
Yeah.
14 abandoned stations we did in the video before if you haven't seen it, and 4 tunnels we attempted to get to, or 3 tunnels we attempted to get to.
It has been a while though, to be fair, since we've actually done a tunnel video.
It does seem quite a long time,
It does, doesn't it? It seems like forever.
But it feels quite good because I like the tunnel videos. Yeah. So I still feel bad about that last tunnel. If you're watching from the Castle Estate, I apologise. I did email them and ask them, and I didn't think I was really pushing it just on that sort of 200 bit at the end.
He was very careful.
So apologies. Thank you. Anyway, right, we are off. We will probably see you next Sunday. I think probably we'll almost certainly see you next Sunday.
We won't see them. They'll see us.
They'll see us.
It'd be weird if we started seeing them all in their lounges while we were watching.
Can you imagine that?
That'd be weird.
Kind of fun.
Yeah, I know you.
Oh, and
Sit
them.
there.
Oh, and you too. Goodbye.